If you've always wanted to learn how to sew, we've got a great beginner project for you that doesn't require proper sizing.
We are talking about kitchen aprons, and here to show us how easy it is to whip these little guys up into shape while using reused old linens is Jenni Pagano from First Rate Secondhand Thrift Store.
Hi, ladies.
Hello.
Hi, Jenni. I love aprons, and they're kind of making a comeback. I've seen a lot of cute ones floating around, especially online.
And they can be very expensive.
Ridiculously expensive. Why are they so expensive?
I don't know, just for something you're just going to get dirty.
Right.
So what I love to do is make aprons out of vintage linens from the thrift store. Sometimes you can find gorgeous things, and they might not match your decor or even the style that you might wear out of the house, but you can make an apron that is really cute that you can wear in the house. If it's not perfectly done, who cares?
Right.
You're just wearing it at home. And these are also great kid projects. So I brought in a bunch of tablecloths. And these make great aprons like the one I'm wearing.
Cute.
This is cute. I thought this was a dress at first. It's so cute.
Isn't it fun?
It is.
And I kind of look like a bubble, but I don't care because I love this fabric.
You're in the kitchen.
That's right. And this one over on the corner here was a Wells Fargo banking bag.
That one's really cute.
I'm so glad that one worked out because I would have hated to have to throw that out.
Yeah.
I would have made something else.
Really
This
cute.
one here is an old placemat, and actually the other half of it was stained.
Oh.
And you made this
I
as a
made that as a
pocket.
pocket. And when you make an apron for yourself, you can make it however you like it. Like I like my strings to come back around to the front and tie in front, or if you need pockets, you can put as many pockets as you want on there.
Jenni, I love this one that you have on the mannequin over here.
That was actually made from a men's shirt.
Right.
It's super easy. You just cut from the armholes to the waist and then finish the edges and add a string.
Right.
Okay, well, I'm not talking from any sort of experience, but what if you have no idea how to sew?
Then
Like
I
none.
would start with something that had very straight lines like this one.
Okay.
This is an old dresser scarf, I think, and it was very stained, and I bleached it a little bit and just lined it with something else. So I just sewed straight lines. You will need a sewing machine for this.
Right.
There may be ways to do this with fusible tape. I just don't know how. So,
Okay.
Okay.
Straight lines.
Straight
Remember
lines.
that.
Got it.
Easier. Straight lines.
So one thing I wanted to share with you is that you can get bias tape edging at the thrift store, all vintage pieces like that. Bias tape is cut on the diagonal for the fabric, so it has more stretch to it.
Okay.
So it's really good for going around corners,
Oh, okay.
and you can trim the edges of things.
See, I didn't know what you meant when you were like, let's talk about bias tape. I'm like, what do you mean bias? Because when things are cut out on the bias, I'm like, usually see them sort of wavy.
Yeah, that's
Like
when you
dresses and
hang bias
shirts.
dresses in your closet,
Yes.
and they stretch.
Right.
I
Exactly.
had no idea what you were talking about. I thought we were talking about like tape, like in general. Like you just tape it together.
So let me show you how to make bias tape of your very own. So you can make it in a pattern like this,
Okay.
or make it to match your project instead of just buying the solid colors you get at the store.
Cool.
Cut a rectangle. You're going to fold up one corner of the rectangle so that it meets the top,
Okay.
Okay.
and then you're going to cut here. And that's the bias line. Okay, that's a 45-degree angle. Once you do that, you're going to sew it to sew the two pieces together so they create a parallelogram.
Okay.
Check twice before you sew. I've done it twice now where I made a triangle instead of a parallelogram.
Right.
Okay. Then you're going to draw lines along the straight edge. That's
Jenni,
45
you didn't tell
degrees.
us we had to know algebra.
I know.
Yeah,
Or,
right.
no, that's geometry.
That's right.
We needed to know our shapes. Okay.
Right.
You're going to cut lines, draw lines, then you're going to match up those lines, and this feels really, really wonky. That's why I wanted to show you. You're going to match them up, but instead of matching them up one for one, you're going to offset it by
Okay.
one.
And are we getting a wave or something out of this?
You're getting a tube. What you're actually going to end up with is this.
Okay.
Remember when we did this sort of with the
okay.
t-shirts?
Yes.
And then we cut like a spiral.
Oh.
So this is what you end up with.
You're making a tie.
You're making just the strips
We're
of
making
fabric.
bias tape, right?
You're cutting continuous strips
Right.
of fabric on a 45-degree angle
Right.
that then you send through these little bias tape makers.
Yeah. Okay, I'm following you.
Okay,
For a
follow.
while there, I thought I was lost, but I'm
Okay.
found.
All right.
Bias tape.
So once you've cut it all together, you have a little strip of fabric, you poke it through these little bias tape makers. You can use a skewer to help push it down
Okay.
the end. And then you would use your iron, my unplugged in iron, to just kind of push it along
Oh, smart.
and iron it. And then you get this fabulous tape
Gotcha.
that you can use to edge projects.
I see what you're saying. So it's matchy-matchy if you want it to be.
If you want, or contrasty, or, and like, for example, this piece, I got about 6 yards from just the back of one of my son's old shirts.
Wow.
Yeah, so it saves a lot of money.
I was just going to say, 'cause
And
I'm
it's fun.
assuming that's slightly expensive.
And
It's
for all
like
that,
maybe
guess what?
$3 when you buy it at the store, and they usually just have solid colors. I love looking at all of these old vintage ones. Some of them are 6 cents. They're from the 40s and 30s.
Wow.
So.
That's all the time we have, Jenny.
Okay.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for our first sewing lesson.
I loved it.
To learn more about first-rate secondhand on Speedway, just call 327-5252 or go online to firstratesecondhand.org.
Still ahead on the Morning Blend, we'll tell you the hottest beauty looks for the season and the best movies to hit on the shelf.
Also, right after the break, we'll talk to a real-life monster truck driver. Find out what really scares him coming up right after this.